Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Star Trek Short Treks Episode 3, The Brightest Star, has been released in the US and Canada, and I've seen it. This is my review and Easter eggs video. That's probably the most to-the-point intro I've ever made. Okay, so is this episode good? For starters, it's 13 minutes long. It features award-winning television and film actors Doug Jones and Michelle Yeoh. It's a backstory to the Star Trek Discovery character Saru, and honestly, it seems to be a very divisive episode. I mean, a lot of people seem to like it, a lot of people seem to dislike it. Well, a lot of people seem to dislike the ending. Personally, I enjoyed it. Yes, even the ending. It's not the best thing ever, but it truly wasn't that bad. Okay, it has its flaws, but nothing in my opinion is so devastating it completely destroys Star Trek or part of it. I think it's the interpretation of the Prime Directive, which probably still is called General Order 1 at this point, that's getting people a little frustrated. A Starfleet captain taking one member of an alien species away from their homeworld kinda does seem like a far-fetched solution, but the situation is very peculiar, and the Prime Directive always seems to be interpreted differently by the various captains anyway, so this is no more bizarre than certain other situations we've had on Star Trek before. Not to mention, this is still technically the early days of the Federation and Starfleet. I mean, it's not because Star Trek as a franchise has a tendency to only show us the best captains and their best decisions that Starfleet or the Federation haven't made huge mistakes in the past. I mean, that's probably why the Prime Directive exists in the first place. Saru to his species is kind of like if we found a chicken with the ability to not only understand how an Xbox works, but also turn it into a communications device and communicate with us. It doesn't make all other chickens intelligent and aware of the world they live in, but it does make sense that we would integrate and embrace this one chicken. Steve, right? Steve the smart chicken. Anyway, the other flaws I mentioned are more nitpicks than anything else because they are easily dismissible. The threat ganglia, for example. They're only supposed to come out when the Kelpians are scared, and from what the short showed us, they willingly sacrifice themselves, so they shouldn't exactly be scared. Then again, it's not because one has accepted his or her fate that one is not afraid of said fate. So, who's to say when and where the ganglia are supposed to come out? There's also the fact Kelpians were shown to be excessively strong and fast on Star Trek Discovery, but they're very submissive and passive on their homeworld. Honestly, all that does is just make me that much more intrigued about this alpha species that dominate them with so much ease. The only true mistake the episode made, I think, was the ability for Saru to understand the messages he received. He sends messages in his language, which Georgiou somehow plausibly translates thanks to, Starfleet tech, but he gets the words hello and today in a response, and I really can't figure out how he understood that. I mean, he even knows Georgiou's name, which is, I don't know, intriguing. However, this is a small detail, it's not a big deal. Ultimately, this third short Treks is a nice self-contained story that not only enhances the experience of Star Trek Discovery with backstory elements, but also opens our minds to an entirely new culture and species. There are some tender moments, there are some exciting moments, and there's even a big reveal, all within 13 minutes. Yeah, the CG wasn't the highest of qualities, but the sets and the props were stunning. The performances were very good, and for once, I can get behind the writing. It wasn't cringy, it wasn't forced, it was interesting and, dare I say, emotional. And most of all, this episode opens our mind up to a million discussions that are not complaints, nor questions related to coherence. It makes us think and imagine other possibilities. It makes us wonder about the Prime Directive, about Kaminar, about Saru's family, about Saru himself. This episode adds depth to both Saru and the greater Star Trek story without ever going so big it just blows everything out of proportion and doesn't make sense anymore. It's very good. I congratulate Erica Lippold and Bo Young Kim on the writing because, frankly, this is what Star Trek Short Treks should have been from the beginning, and this is what I was expecting from these short treks. Finally, 3 episodes in, the format delivers. Lippold and Kim also wrote Discovery Episode 9, by the way, which is probably one of my most preferred Discovery episodes, so thumbs up for consistency. Alright, that about covers my opinion on the matter. Right now is about the time where we usually talk about the Easter eggs and the references, but due to the nature of the episode, well, I mean, as you can expect, there isn't that many. I do have a few things to point out, though. Starting with Trek Core that noticed that this flower held by Saru's sister is the same as the one we saw in the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 trailer. So it is worth mentioning, though, you need to keep in mind not all the scenes from the trailers do make it into the final cuts. The only other thing I could point out is Captain Georgiou is wearing the Discovery-style uniform, and this takes place, at least 10 years before Discovery picks up, so the uniform has been around since at least the 2240s. Personally, I'd like to believe this uniform is the direct successor to the Enterprise uniforms, but maybe that's just me. Okay, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. What did you guys think of the episode? Tell me in the comment section below. Remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I will be doing another video sometime soon going over the Discovery Season 1 Blu-ray / DVD that they released. There's also a lot of Star Trek news that is coming out recently, so, you know, I should be talking about that as well. Again, thank you for watching, and, as usual, live long and prosper.